Hi, I'm Marie. Welcome to Marie's Kitchen. Today we're making Ancho Pork Tenderloin. This dish is so easy and so delicious. We're gonna cook it in one pan. I got some requests for more one pan dinners, so I've been working on those, and this is my new favorite. It's Ancho Pork Tenderloin, and not only is it beautiful, it is so delicious. This dish has so much flavor without being spicy, so it's still perfect for the whole family. We love to serve the Ancho Pork Tenderloin with a little cilantro lime sauce on the side. You can toss the cilantro lime sauce with some cabbage and make it into a slaw, so that's delicious for a little crunch. Also, you can serve it with some simple white rice, throw it on a salad, wrap it up in some tortillas for fajitas. So there's so many options to serve this, and I really think you're gonna love this one. Let's get started. To start, we're gonna mix up the rub that'll go on the pork tenderloin, and maybe that sounds intimidating making your own dry rub, but it's so simple and it's just a few ingredients. The first one you'll need is ancho chili powder. Ancho chili is a poblano pepper that's dried, and then it's ground up into this powder. So this is ancho chili powder. You can get it on Amazon. You can get it, I can get it at my local grocery store. We're in Texas, so it may be unique to Texas or southern states, but if you can find some ancho chili powder, that's what you need for this dish. We're gonna use 2 teaspoons to make the rub. So there's 1 and 2. Next, we'll add 2 teaspoons of brown sugar. So there's 1 and 2. Next, we'll add about 1 teaspoon salt. And finally, 1 teaspoon dried oregano. Then we'll just mix that up. Very easy. And now we're gonna add some fresh lime zest. So I've got a microplane grater here, and we're just going to grate the zest of the lime, which is just the dark green part on the outside. You don't want to go into the pith because that can be very bitter. So just grate the zest of the lime. You just turn it and grate, turn and grate until you go all over the lime and get all the zest. It's about 1 teaspoon is about the zest of 1 small lime. So go ahead and zest the whole thing. And I love the flavor that this adds. Okay, there's our lime zest. Okay, we've got our lime zest here. It is about 1 teaspoon, kind of a heaping 1 teaspoon. I like a lot of lime though. Then we'll just put that in with our rub here. And then what I'm gonna do is use my hands to mix it up to really get all that lime zest mixed in really well. So just use your fingers to mix it up. Okay, so we've got our rub all mixed up here. It looks great. Now we'll take our pork tenderloin. This one's about 1.5 pounds, maybe a little less. And I've washed and dried it. And now we're just gonna add the rub to it. You're gonna put it all over the pork tenderloin. Using your hands is the easiest. So we'll just put this all over the pork tenderloin and give it a flip here and do the other side. Smells so good. Just do the rub all over. Lots of good flavor. Kind of press it in. Okay, this looks great. I'm gonna set this aside, wash my hands real quick. We're gonna let this sit for about 20 minutes while we prepare the onions and peppers and the cilantro lime sauce. So we're gonna let it kind of sit, kind of just absorb all this good flavor. So you could do this overnight. You could wrap it up and leave it overnight in the refrigerator. We're just gonna leave it on the counter for about 15 or 20 minutes with this great rub on it. So let me wash my hands and we'll move on. Okay, now it is time to cut up the onion. We're gonna put some sweet onion and bell pepper in with the pork tenderloin. We're gonna put that all together when it goes in the oven. So it's gonna cook the onions and peppers with it, and they'll be ready to serve alongside the tenderloin. When I made this this the first time. I wasn't sure how it was going to go over with my family, but my kids devoured the vegetables, something they don't usually do. So give these a try. We're going to start with 1 onion, and this is pretty big. Oh, and here's a secret. If onions bother you, they make you cry when you cut them, put them in the refrigerator. The cold will neutralize the sulfuric acid in here that is what makes you cry, and so store your onions in the refrigerator before cutting. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and cut the onion. I just like to cut off this end here. And then we'll go right through the center. We'll just pull the paper back from the onion. And then we're going to cut this into some really thin rings. You want to cut it in nice, really thin rings so it cooks fast enough. If it's in really thick rings, then it's not going to get as soft as we want it. We want it, almost caramelized. So thin rings is what you're going for. We'll just slice down like that. Really thin slices. There we go. Now we'll go ahead and move this onion over to a plate. There we go. Next is a bell pepper. To cut the bell pepper, we're just going to go down the side here. And then we're just going to cut some, again, very thin slices of the red bell pepper. And now we've got this gorgeous plate of sweet bell pepper and onion, nice and sliced, ready to go with the pork tenderloin. Okay, now it's time to turn the fire on and actually get cooking. I'm using a cast iron skillet, which is great for this. It goes right into the oven, so if you don't have a cast iron skillet, just be sure to use something that is oven proof, because we're going to start on the stovetop and then move to the oven. We're going to turn the fire to about medium to medium high heat. You want a nice hot fire. We're going to sear the pork tenderloin. And so we're going to add a little bit of olive oil to the pan. What we're doing is searing the outside of the pork tenderloin, and then we'll finish cooking in the oven. When we sear it, you do want to be careful. There is a little bit of sugar in this rub, and so it can burn easily. So you want to do about probably 1 minute aside. And you can double check there and make sure it's not burning. So we're going to sear all sides of the pork tenderloin. That'll give it some great color. That'll give it some great flavor. So it just takes a few minutes and it adds really a lot to this dish. Okay, so the pan is nice and hot. I'm just going to use a fork to move the pork tenderloin right over to the pan and give that a good sear. While the pork tenderloin is searing, we're going to preheat the oven to 400 degrees. We can kind of check it if we want to see if it's burning, and then give that a flip, get the other side searing. Oh man, that looks great. It smells incredible in here too. Now we'll move it a little bit and do the other side, get those in there a little bit. That side a little. Okay, that part is done. We're going to turn the fire off, and now we'll add the onions and peppers right to the same pan. I'm just going to add some onions right in there to the hot pan on both sides of the pork tenderloin. Just spread those all around. I love the color from the bell pepper. So pretty. Now what I'm going to do is pour a little olive oil right over the onions and peppers, just a little drizzle. And then we can also do a little pinch of salt on the onions and peppers. You don't need a lot. They will cook down and they'll get some of the salt and seasonings from the rub we put on the pork. So not too much there. One other thing I love to do is add a little pat of butter to the peppers and onions for a little bit of extra richness and flavor. So if you want to do that, you can. Just a little pat here to each pile of onions and peppers. Okay, now we're going to pop this in the oven for about 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, real quick, while the pork tenderloin is cooking, we're going to whip up some cilantro lime sauce. This is one of my favorite sauces. I've been making it for years. It's delicious on anything. It's great on fish tacos. I use it as a salad dressing for taco salads. So grab this recipe. It's on my website at marieseba.com. All we'll need is 1 cup Greek yogurt, and I love Greek Gods. This is my favorite brand. It's not quite as sour or bitter as some Greek yogurt, so it's nice and thick too. So Greek God's yogurt, 1 cup. We're just gonna pop that into this mini food processor. Next is 1/2 cup Hellmann's mayonnaise. Next, 2 to 3 tablespoons of fresh squeezed lime juice. So we'll start with 2, and then we can add a little more if we want it even more tangy. Then we're gonna add some salt here, a nice pinch of salt, and then fresh cilantro. And you'll wanna add about 1 cup of fresh cilantro leaves. Some stems are okay. We blend it up so you really won't even notice them at all. So I like to grab a nice handful, and I'm not even gonna measure. I'm just gonna pop that right in with the other ingredients. Now we'll have a little taste, see if we need more lime or salt. Perfect. So good. So we'll just pour this into a little serving dish, and that's ready to go. And this will keep in your fridge, so feel free to make it on a Sunday and have it, use it during the week. It's one of those things that's great to get out of the way. And then again, you can use it on all sorts of stuff. Oh my goodness, here it comes. It looks so good. It smells incredible in here, and I can't believe how easy it was. What we're gonna do now is take a meat thermometer and just pop that in the pork tenderloin. You want it at about 140 degrees. We're gonna let it sit in the pan for about 10 minutes and rest, so it'll continue cooking and get to about 150 degrees. So we're gonna pop this in the pork tenderloin, and we are right at 140, 141 degrees. While this is sitting and resting, I am gonna toss the onions and peppers a little, just to make sure everybody gets some flavor. Don't wanna leave anybody out, in cooking as in life, right? Thanks so much for joining us on Marie's Kitchen. Today we made this easy pork tenderloin with an ancho rub. Adds so much good smoky flavor. We cooked that with some peppers and onions on the side. In just 15 minutes, this is cooked, and 10 minutes later, everything is ready to serve. We've got our cilantro lime sauce that we made while the pork was cooking, and threw that together with some cabbage for a nice crunchy slaw on the side. I can't wait to serve this to my family tonight, and I feel good about eating it because it's protein and vegetables. It's low carb and so delicious. I really hope you get to try this one. If you do, let me know in the comments. I would love to hear from you. Also, hit that subscribe button and the bell button for notifications, because we've got lots more videos coming up with easy recipes just like this. My goal is to give you some really reliable, easy recipes so you can then gain some confidence in the kitchen and then feel really proud serving delicious food to people that you love. From my kitchen to yours, thank you.